it's Georgie the Goblin, and welcome to the official Family of Gamers podcast. The podcast where Andrew and Coach talk all things war games, board games, and much, much more. And here are your hosts, Andrew and Coach.
FOG Andrew here, and the Coach here for Family of Gamers. Welcome, War Gamers, to an exciting, awesome episode.
Episode?
Oh, I'm sorry. An exciting, awesome podcast. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first official episode of the FOG podcast.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking, we got a bunch of stuff we're going to talk about in this episode, some news and stuff like that. Pretty much all things Mantic, of course, in this episode. But really quick, we're starting a new podcast, just a new thing. We're going to discuss a bunch of stuff. It's not just going to be Mantic related, but, we will talk about a bunch of, stuff that's going on. And, So, and then we're also hopefully putting this on Spotify as well, so you can check it out in there. And then also, YouTube, obviously. And then wherever there's stuff linked, I'll have the YouTube link there, and then also the Spotify link.
So right, we'll put all that stuff in the show notes.
Yeah, show notes, description, wherever you're watching this, YouTube or Spotify. But anyway, we got some stuff to talk about. The first thing we're going to talk about, which is kind of interesting, the Kings of War 2-player starter set that is coming out. Now, this is stuff that they've kind of revealed from, Mantic's newsletter and stuff like that. But they got the Chill of Twilight new 2-player ambush starter set. Now, this is going to be the Twilight Kin versus the Northern Alliance. Now, what's kind of interesting about this one is that it's about $40 cheaper compared to their other starter sets that are, 2-player starter sets. Granted, obviously you're getting a little bit less, but I feel like this is,
well, this is the 2-player ambush starter set.
Right.
So it's like kind of a scaled down Kings of War.
Right. So I think it's it's good for people to kind of get into Kings of War if they, because looking at $130 or $90, people might prefer to go for the $90 starter set.
Right.
It's on pre-order right now. Now, me personally have not played Kings of War.
Right.
But you, Coach, did demo it at the last Adepticon that we went to, which was 2023's Adepticon.
Right.
If you want to kind of talk about your experience with Kings of War and what you think about that.
Well, what we first did was we looked at the Parabellum Conquest. That we demoed that first, and I really kind of enjoyed that game. It was okay. I liked it. The minis were really nice. The fluff artwork is really good. And then we went over and we demoed Kings of War, and I'm not going to say it was the same game, but I'm going to say that I kind of like Kings of War a little bit better.
Right.
And I did enjoy it. So I demoed Kings of War, and I seemed to like it better than Conquest. Even though Conquest was okay, I thought Kings of War was better. I had a really good demo. I liked it, and the fact that I already have 2 armies, one's built and the other one's in the box.
Which armies do you have again?
I have the ogres.
Mm-hmm.
I got the mega starter, the big one. The ogres, and I also have the dwarves, of course. The dwarves,
of course, yeah.
And I enjoyed it, but it just seems that the guys, the FOG crew, wasn't as excited as I was for Kings of War. So unfortunately, we haven't played it. But of course, like a typical hobbyist / modeler, I have tons of stuff in the closet that needs to be played. But I would really like to start playing Kings of War, even on a small level, like a slow grow. So you look at this, the Chill of Twilight, the ambush set. I think they're giving ambush scenarios.
Okay.
for just this. So if you look, you have three three squads of Twilight Kid, three squads of the Northern Alliance. So, I guess you get a feel for it, and then you could build up to it. But honestly, if you're looking at um, another starter, even the bigger ones, they got a bunch of two-player starter sets. I mean, Abyssal Dwarves and Night Stalkers, uh, Empire of Dust and Ogres, stuff like that is, I mean, for 120 bucks, for $30 more, it's not such a bad deal either.
Right.
But the ambush, it's a way to kind of dip your foot into it, and
Right.
I think I think it's good. I think it's a good idea, but I think it's good where you can um, do kind of a slow grow, where
Yeah.
you start with this. I don't know how many I don't know how many points this is. I'm very unfamiliar with Kings of War,
Mhm.
but I think there's a real way to go. And I don't know. What are you thinking? I mean, you're looking at it. What do you think?
I mean, you know what? It's kind of like when you look at, let's say, um, like I'm looking right now, the Kings of War, what is it? The regular ambush starter set. So like they have the Night Stalkers ambush starter set, Abyssal Dwarf ambush starter set.
Mhm.
About $45. So it makes sense. You have two for not, the two ambush uh
Yeah,
things for 90.
it seems like there's like three. I guess you call them units, but they're three bases of dudes.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Um, but then you look at some of these other ones, like the Raging Void two-player starter set. That's 130. Ice and Shadows 120. So most of them are 120 to 130.
Right, but the difference is what you're not seeing is you're getting the Kings of War rule book.
Right,
So for
right,
the extra money, you're getting the rule book and then getting started the Raging Void, which
right,
I guess is your quick start. Let's get into it.
right. But
So
what I'm saying is though, like, you know, for me it's like, do I spend 120 or do I spend 90?
right,
And I know you get the rule book and everything, but I would rather spend the 90 to just
dip your toe into
dip
Kings
my
of War.
exactly. If I really want to get into Kings of War, or if I'm thinking about it,
Right,
then to get the $90 one, and kind of figure it out from
right.
there.
Okay, so now just for for uh for fun, as you scroll down and you're looking at these ambush sets, right?
Yeah.
What tickles Andrew's fancy? What tickles FOG's fancy? What FOG Andrews piques his interest? What looks good to you?
So I'll tell you what doesn't.
Mm,
The Basileans I don't care for. The
okay,
Halflings I don't care for. I don't. I mean, the ogres are all right,
right.
but I will say, and I hate to say it, it's those gosh darn friggin' goblins that look friggin' awesome.
Really?
I really like those goblins. I
Hmm.
actually really like the Night Stalkers.
Right.
Uh, the I'm not sure exactly what the ones are called that look like the Gene Stealers from 40K.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Those
Uh,
those I think those are the Night Stalkers
they really look. I remember we were talking about this. Look like Gene Stealers, and you said they look like Outriders from
from
Infinity War.
right, right. Yeah.
So I think they look pretty cool. And then the other guys that have like no eyes, but they have a big mouth with a tongue, and then they
Hmm.
have like tentacles wrapping around like a spear, and then like their
Hmm.
other arm has like another mouth.
Right.
It's pretty cool. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
pretty cool. I kind of like that.
It's the
Um,
stuff of nightmares, thus the Night Stalkers.
right.
You
So
know,
yeah, I mean,
it says here they lurk in the cold shadows of the world and of the mind. The Night Stalkers are fears of mortals come to life. The ambush starter set is a great place to start. I think about it for 45 bucks. Let's say we get this, right? You get 45 bucks. You get this. I got some stuff already.
right,
We can get to town.
right.
Now, I want to just I'm going to say something and then we're going to get back to it in a little while. there's something that Mantic does that really helps me out with this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
With,
Yeah, we will get to it
right, but
later.
I'm just saying. So just Mantic is hooking us up in a way. So let's
Right.
we'll get to that in a little while. But yeah, so the Night Stalkers, huh? You
I
like them?
I do, and then the goblins are really cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Like these two these mincers. It looks like I think they're called.
right.
Those vehicles, like it's so dumb. I love it. I
Yeah,
love the goblins, you
right.
know,
Well,
and I hate to be on the side of
as
you
well
know,
you should.
I hate to be on the side of Georgie and Boomer, but
Right.
you know,
But now if you will, go over to go over to the Goblin Army. Go
mhm,
to the Mega Army.
okay.
All right.
Let me
Um
get over here. Goblins
okay.
and the mega. Oh, holy crap!
So for 165,
Oh, wait, what is this? These guys are cool.
they're awesome, right?
Yeah, they got like essentially mob beasts. They got
Right.
a what is this? A big oh,
Well, is it,
they got a troll, and then they got the Goblin King.
right.
That's
There's a
pretty
bunch of
cool.
stuff. So and you know, and
Who's this big? Is it just
he,
a giant?
he's a giant. He's a giant. But if you don't want that, like say I think you go back to the goblins
Hmm.
and you just get the goblin army,
Right.
which is it keeps coming up as pounds for whatever. You gotta click on it. Yeah, for $100 you get you're getting like the goblins, the they call them more pups. I guess the more beasts or more
Right.
pups.
Oh, I like
Uh,
that vehicle.
yeah, the mincer, a goblin bigot, and 6 plastic trolls. I don't
Hmm.
know, man. I'll be honest with you. I would go mega. I would go
Yeah.
mega.
I mean, for another $65, you get a whole.
You get a bunch more stuff,
Yeah,
yeah,
you get what? You get
and you get the giant.
two more things of goblins, and you get the
Another thing,
king, and then a giant. That's pretty
yeah,
good. I mean, the
and
giant on its own is like $45.
right.
So
So you're getting
man,
the deal,
these vehicles are really cool. Goblin slasher. It's like on a giant dinosaur.
right? Now,
Rock thrower. That's funny.
what about the dudes riding the infantry?
Yeah,
The they're riding on the more pups.
yeah. They got a mop up launcher.
Yeah,
I really like these goblins, but
so,
we're gonna talk. We'll talk about it later.
right.
The stuff that might help us out get into Kings of War. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean the but
I think I've struck a nerve with somebody who might want to play Kings of
well
War.
we'll see we'll see. But anyway,
Well, listen, I,
again, going back to the two-player ambush starter set,
mm,
I think it's a good idea for people to you know get
mm,
into Kings of War, without
yeah,
going too crazy into it, without having to buy like a mega set or just a
mhm.
regular army. Even just the ambush sets in general, seem like a good thing for $45. If you have somebody
A good
else
way to
that's gonna
start.
play.
Good way
Yeah,
to start.
yeah, I think it's a good idea. I do think
Yeah.
it's a good idea.
All right. So put $90 aside and let's get cracking.
Yeah.
You know.
Uh, but yeah, I mean that's that. The next thing we kind of want to talk about is the Walking Dead All Out War miniatures game is coming
Right.
back in 2024. So kind of an interesting development. We when did we find this out? When did they kind of reveal that?
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
It was a while ago. It was one of those things where it's like, hey, don't throw out your don't think it's over. Um, you know, because it was what was the crazy part. I don't know exactly here. Oh, it was on 1/12 or 12/1 because they do it. England does it. Their dates different. So it was on this in December.
Hmm.
You know, so now what? So they revealed that they're going to, I guess, how long do we have to wait? It says not too long. They have the Walking Dead dice game. So yes, everyone, it's back. It's going to be spectacular. It's time to carry on with this very best zombie story ever told, right on your tabletop with your buddies, standing shoulder to shoulder against the end of the world. Which is actually crazy because um, you said that it was Mantic's forgotten game. We did
Yeah, funnily enough, for Spooky Month, we did a Walking Dead battle report, and then
right,
we also did a video talking about it. And like I said, it was Mantic's forgotten game, but I guess it's not quite forgotten now. They're bringing it back, which was
right.
kind of funny. We posted that video, and then right away they were like, "Oh, we're bringing it back."
Yeah, because we really didn't play it for a while, and then we just said, "Hey, let's just try it out. Let's do a battle report." And
Right.
it's just, I guess, we are the impetus of all-out war here.
Yeah.
So
Ronnie saw our video and was like, "We should bring it back."
yeah, oh yeah, that's what that's exactly what happened.
Exactly.
But it was pretty good. I had fun with it. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like I said, it was okay. It was okay. But
yeah,
uh, that being said, they did do an article about it, in December, kind of explaining that, they're gonna have three ways that you can kind of get started with the game. A collector set, a refreshed All Out War anthology with rules and expansion content, and a brand new Essentials box.
mhm.
And I think the Essentials box is going to have like rules, dice, and tokens. And then if you already have the models, it'll kind of, you just have to get the Essentials kit. Then you got the models to basically play the game.
Yeah, and also they're gonna come out with the Whisperers and the Kingdom.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's the Commonwealth was and the Commonwealth, the strong and resilient network of survivors and organized military.
hmm
So they were like, they kind of remind me of stormtroopers. They had all white.
right.
They were wearing that stuff and they fought the zombies and whatnot.
And
So
they also said that
walkers, not zombies, walkers.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The Mantic Companion app
Hmm.
is going to have a collector's tool to keep track of your collection. So you
Hmm.
could figure out what minis you're missing, and also like it'll tell you like, oh, like this is what you got, and you
Hmm.
kind of, it's like a collecting app. And I know Pokemon and Disney Lorcana have done that as well. They've done you know a kind of collector's app,
Hmm.
which I think is
That's an
an
old
interesting
school
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
That's an old school thing when you used to play. Yeah, I mean, when I used to collect baseball cards or football cards or even Kiss cards, and you get one card with a checklist, and you check them off to see what card you need or what you have to buy. So,
Right.
um,
Yeah, it's
but
it's a
yeah,
it's a cool little additional thing they're doing.
mm,
It's kind
yeah,
of interesting. But if you guys want to check out the video we did on what we thought of the Walking Dead miniatures game, you can definitely check that out. That's on the YouTubes. Um, we'll try to have that linked somewhere as well. But more interesting news. It's kind of interesting. So the Night Stalkers, okay,
mm,
they are a they're in, obviously, Kings of War and everything, but they're apparently going to be coming to Dead Zone slash Firefight, and read you a little bit of the article that they had. So, as we unsubtly hinted in yesterday's blog, the news is true that the Night Stalkers are finally coming to Firefight and, of course, Dead Zone as well. The Night Stalkers are a faction that already spans space and time and was built around a mix of alien and cosmic horror aesthetics. As such, it's high time that we brought their special brand of terror to dimly lit shuttle bays, abandoned mining facilities, and off the record research bases. So, the Night Stalkers look pretty damn cool in
mm,
Kings of War. Like we
right,
were just saying before, looking at the different factions and everything for them, it they look pretty sweet. So,
yeah.
uh,
But if you look at the article, now the article came out on the first, okay, and looking forward to them. They gave us 4 sneak peeks
mhm,
at the bottom. and so it looks like basically the same, but there's a part where one of those, I guess, outriders is holding. It looks like a Forge Father hammer,
Mm-hmm.
which I do not approve of that at all.
Yeah, you
But
really don't.
but yeah, so I think as far as Night Stalkers being in there, now I don't know when you look at the Night Stalkers in Kings of War, okay, they have some cool stuff like the butchers and ravagers. I think they could be in, um, they could definitely be in Dead Zone, even in Firefight. I
Right.
don't I don't see a an issue with bringing some of those guys over.
Yeah.
Um, you know, the let's I'm going to look at the mega army here. So, they got the floating, like that floating eye thing.
Yeah, that guy's cool.
Yeah, he's awesome. What is he? The Banshee Mind Screech. Um, they could be in, they could definitely be in, so it looks like they can. I don't know about these dudes, the scarecrows, doppelgangers. Maybe they could bring them in and write something cool about them, but
Mm-hmm.
everything else I could see going in, not a problem. And you know, I wonder how they're going to do. Is it going to be a horde army? Are they going to be cheap? They die easy, but they hit like hard, similar to Plague or somewhere in the
Right.
middle. You
Right.
know,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
and we're also going to talk a little bit more about this late in a minute, but bringing these into doing a whole new faction, I think is a very big task. Especially for Dead Zone,
Well, they should have been had did it.
they definitely should have been had.
Right. What
Um,
happens is like more variety in Dead Zone. But my thing is what the rules committee needs to do is, and this is what I tried to do when I was on the rules committee. Everything needs to be different. Okay, everything can't like shoot at 4 or 3, 5. You have to have a really really different uniqueness and a variety to them. I don't want to see these guys on bikes or having vehicles or stuff like that because they don't have that in Kings of War, and I don't think these seem like if they're going to be aliens from another world or nightmares coming out of like horrors from your worst imagination, they should just be like something that came out of Hellraiser and something that came out of the darkest abyss of the sea or just just from hell or something really really horrible, and that's
right.
what these guys should be. I don't want to see them driving a mule or driving a
Right.
tank. you
And
know
that was what I was gonna say too. I'm like, the other thing is like, what can they do with the Night Stalkers that hasn't been done already in Dead Zone?
right.
They gotta really do something. They
Hmm.
gotta really do something. And like, I'm not too familiar with the Kings of War lore or whatever, but like,
Right.
maybe they have more, they have
Well,
like more psychic abilities and stuff
yeah,
like that that
even
can like,
even
really mess it up.
bringing in a giant, or they have the terror or the horror, which is basically like a Goliath from the Nameless.
Right.
Those could be great, like tank killers,
Right. Right.
or just massively huge dudes that go across, and let's say we don't have a tank, we don't have a mule, but we have this,
Right.
and then if you're going to make something like that would um be a flyer like the enforcers, and the enforcers, the GCPS, the marauders, they have their aerial planes and whatnot, the hornets and the what the hell is the enforcers called, the accuser, the interceptor, I'm sorry, I drew a blank there for a second. Maybe they can have some kind of, I don't know, Rodan or something, or Gamera, you know something horrible
Right.
that they could use, so with this is crazy because it should be all organic. That's
Right.
the way
Right.
I look at it. um and different from the Nameless in the way that the Nameless actually use guns, they use armor,
Hmm.
and you know because I was hoping the Nameless would be like this, but maybe these guys will have a psychic thing, because if there are nightmares coming out of it, they have some kind of fear or something like that or whatever. So, you know, there could be some good stuff going on here. I see this as a huge opportunity for Dead Zone. I'm speaking more Dead Zone than Firefight, but Dead Zone to Firefight is a logical progression. But
Right,
they really have to make they. I want them to make these guys super unique, which I think Dead Zone is unfortunately lost a little bit of that. You know,
right.
e- Too many people have shields. Too many people. There's not enough uniqueness in the armies, and you know,
Yeah, there's got to be, and like what is my incentive on, you know, taking the Night Stalkers as a faction? What is my incentive on taking enforcers when, whoever else has a shield or whatever? It's like they got to do. They feel like they got to do more stuff like that. You know,
I
and
think it's got to be more unique. Like, all right, well, these guys in every army has a good shooter. All right, these guys in every army has a good combat. In
right,
this army, we have a good heavy weapons.
right,
This one, we have good mortars. It should be more unique to it.
right, right.
That's just what I see. Things could be similar, but really different.
Yeah, and kind of building off of the Night Stalkers getting a faction. They also showed that the Mastodons are
Yes.
getting a new faction. So originally they were a part of the Asterian faction, as units in Dead Zone and Firefight 2 or no?
No, I'm not. I think they are in fire. They are in firefight. I don't
Okay.
play Asterians, but the thing is what I thought that they were going to have more Matsudon.
Right.
Okay, so more Matsudon with with the Asterians, obviously, right?
Right.
But it says just as exciting is the news that we will be introducing hard plastic Matsudon, who will be playable in Dead Zone for the first time as their own fully fledged faction.
Right.
All right, so yeah, the Matsudon need a little bit of work, in
Yeah.
Dead Zone. They weren't where they should be. But now you see, once again, I'm gonna kind of repeat myself. You need to take these dudes if you're gonna have them as samurai lizards, right? That because essentially that's what they are. Let's make them samurai lizards, naginatas, and swords or double swords or you know tenbo, nunchaku, or all like if you're gonna make them Japanese, nunchaku is more Okinawan, but like they need to kind of distinguish themselves or make kind of forge their own path as
Right.
far as not being part of the Asterians.
Right.
Maybe break off and do some stuff, and you got to get rid of honorable. It's just
Yeah, it's
it,
not
it, it's a terrible rule. I'm sorry. I just you know a faction that has knockback, and then you can't attack a guy with knockback. I just I don't understand that. To
yeah.
me, and honestly, honorable is something that's I think from Dreadball. But the thing is, I've done Andrew, I have a lot of research with samurai,
Yeah.
um, and there really wasn't the honorable that you knew. The honor was to the Lord, okay, the Lord of the castle, or your Lord, the guy who paid you the rice koku and did that. But when it came to combat, you hit him with a rock, you hit him with your shoe, you throw a thing through his eye, he turns his back to you, you stab him there was no honor on the battlefield. The only honor in battlefield was victory on the battlefield. So
Right.
I think it's a noble thing that they're trying to do, but it doesn't make sense in
Right.
in in the grand scheme of it. Now you could say, well, they're samurai lizards from another part of the universe. Okay, I get that, but if you're going to base it on Budo, then do it correctly. I
Yeah.
like to see them with new weapons, something different. Now, when you start new, don't give us the same old stuff. Give us new. If you're starting from sculpts, I want to see some new stuff, man. And I hate this, I'm gonna buy it because
Yeah.
I'm a Dead Zone fanatic, and we're gonna get it. And damn, if not, I mean, in Adepticon last year, I entered two things in the Brush with Death, and my Matsudan were super samurai, and then they had the Sashimono behind them. I had two sets of the flags, the samurai flag behind them. because I wanted to really make him look like samurai.
Yeah.
And you know, let's get it on, man. Let's do it. This I'm kind of excited for to be, I mean, come on, big chubby lizards with samurai armor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's up my alley.
I'm excited too. I'm excited for both the Night Stalkers and the Mastodons. Again, like I said before, I just hope that, there's just some variety in there that makes them different from
Well,
everything else, you know?
variety, but unique variety.
Well,
That's
yeah,
what I'm.
yeah, yeah. That's what I mean. Like something unique that gives me the incentive to actually take these factions and
Yeah.
buy these factions. I am interested to see what obviously the stats are going to be, and then eventually we will when they start revealing more stuff, we will do some
Yeah,
content
we'll
on
talk
that.
about it there, and I think it's not the Matsudans, it's the Matsudan because the plural of samurai is samurai. So Matsudan, I'm going to call it now that the plural of Matsudan is Matsudan.
Okay, it's like the plural of Lego being Lego.
Right.
It's not Legos.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
So don't call me samurais.
Okay, I'll try
All
not
right.
to. But so kind of
Speaking of Warpath,
yeah, so kind of straying a little bit away from Dead Zone. Uh Epic Warpath has been a thing that Mantic has been kind of showing for a bit. They've been kind of showing that they're basically coming out with this, and
Mm,
it's coming to Kickstarter on February 14th, so Valentine's Day it will be on Kickstarter.
don't
And
don't don't buy her flowers.
buy
Back to
her, yeah,
buy
back to Kickstarter.
buy her a enforcer faction.
Yeah. But and part of the article says why Kickstarter? Well, coming out of our gamer survey with thousands of responses and chatting with many of you at events in the open day, we've heard loud and clear that you wanted a big launch, alien racist terrain, a core of great new hard plastics, STL support, and more. That's a huge project for any game studio, and crowdfunding will allow us to launch this game system in the big way that we now know that the everybody wants to see. And the big part about that is the STL support and more. And I know
Yes.
that obviously tickles your fancy a little bit, but
Mhm.
really quick, what coach, what the hell is Epic Warpath? Kind of what is this? Like
So
they've done Warpath, then they
right.
did Firefight,
Well,
Warpath
they did.
Firefight, and now they just have Firefight.
Honestly, I read the article and like the history of Warpath. So um, the first Warpath that came out was dismal. It was god awful.
Yeah,
You
that
couldn't
was
play it.
not a
It
fun
was
game.
it was just terrible. So then they said during the Kickstarter of Warpath, before it actually came out, they had two options, which was Warpath and Firefight. And Firefight was more of a squad. Warpath was more Kings of War in space, and Firefight was moving dudes around, kind of like what we have today. So then both I never played the Warpath one because Warpath was supposed to be where you could take like 5,000 points and you could use your models and move them all over the table. And Firefight was, I think, a little bit more my speed, but obviously wasn't good. Now, fast forward, you have Firefight, which is pretty good. I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot.
Hmm.
Right now painting up models to get on the table for a Firefight,
Right,
but they've improved on the game. From what it was, because you remember we played it like what 4 or 5 times, really trying to give it a the old college try, and it was just freaking horribly awful. So
yeah.
yeah,
It
it
was
was
not.
bad.
That was not
No,
a good time.
no. The best thing that came out was the tokens, the models, and the source book, which is
Right.
the fluff, which you know. But no, with Mantic, it was a low price point, and we got a ton of stuff.
Right.
All right. So now, fast forward to now, they want to do Epic. So back in the day, 40K had Epic 40K, which was like land raiders were about an inch from front to back, and you could run like 12 land raiders in a squad and stuff, and it was just called Epic. So it was called Epic, and it was small, so it's kind of an oxymoron. So now, instead of you having to buy, let's say, 17 mules and 17 hornets at 28 millimeter on the table, you could have 17 mules, 17 hornets, but at a smaller scale, like very small. I'm not sure. I think it's 10 millimeter or 8 millimeter, very, very, very small. It almost reminds me of like Flames of War. And what you're going to do is you put guys on bases and move them that way. And Alessio Cavatore, the guy who, he's world famous for making games. And he did, Kings of War, and he's helping them do this one. So it should be okay. It's going to be a mass battle game, where moving dudes around the table. If you see, like, they have some enforcer operatives on a round base, and then some peacekeepers, like two of them on a base, and so on and so forth. So that's the gist of what it's going to be.
Right. Now it does seem kind of I like how you made that point, kind of like Flames of War, we got like the tiny soldiers, on like a large base, and then you got the tanks which are smaller.
Right.
I kind of, you know, like that idea, I guess. I wasn't too crazy on it when I first heard about it. I'm like, oh, like what are they doing now? Like what is this? But, looking at everything and kind of, you know, looking at the stuff that they've been showing off, it seems interesting, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, I think maybe Ronnie kind of knows what he's doing, because a little drip and drab here,
Right.
um, showing you this, showing you that. I mean, like, some of the sculpts were, they always say sculpt's not final, but they'll probably be close to it. There's some plague guys. I see there's a lot of new vehicles,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool. I guess you can make a ton of vehicles that are not in, say, firefight. In Dead Zone, you're really not using vehicles.
Right.
If you are, they're just not, they're not like tanks and whatnot. um you know Jet bikes, bikes, you know that the Valkyrs and stuff like that, or the Asterians. Everybody has kind of this scooter with, something like that.
Right.
But you know this might be a um this might be something cool, man. Looking
Yeah.
at it, it looks pretty cool. Like, so, you got the, let's just say, like, the enforcer operatives, there's four on a base, and then, like, the peacekeeper, there's two on a base, and then
Right.
there's command guys, I guess there's two on a base. um you have bursters and stage twos on, two of them each, but then, like, the plague stage threes, they're on the they're, four to a base. It really does remind me of Flames of War, just with circular bases,
Right.
but it's sci-fi, which is near and dear to our heart.
Yeah. And you know what? This is I think the main kind of thing that we were kind of hinting about talking about before
Right.
was, if you want to get into that, the Vault and the Mantic companion app.
Well, are we done with Warpath? We're done with talking about it.
Well, I
Well,
mean, it's kind of a part of it.
well, well. Let me ask you. What do you think?
Well, it kind of leads into the Vault,
Right.
because if it doesn't seem like a game that I would want to like go out of my way and like kind of purchase all these different faction, like a whole new set of factions and models
Mhm.
for a game in the same universe as Dead Zone and Firefight. But because we have the Vault subscription, and we're lucky enough and fortunate enough to have some 3D printers
Mhm.
with because they talk about or well, I don't know if they specifically talk about with Epic Warpath, but with what was it, the
Well, they said that it would be
yeah,
STL
I'm
support.
sorry, yeah, that's right, the STL support. So
So
which
does that mean, like, there's going to be like a in the Kickstarter, you could do like physical models and you can do STLs?
right, and
Or
that's the thing I'm kind of interested in, like, will they have a tier where you can buy the physical stuff, and then like a tier where you can buy
The
the
STLs.
files,
Right.
which I think would be the way to go, but
Well,
obviously depending on the price.
right. Well, I also when I filled out the survey, I said I would love to have this as a 3D game.
Right,
So I could print up exactly what I want
right,
because I'm sure that there will be models in this that I just don't want to paint or play.
right.
So I'd rather just be very selective and do this. I don't mind backing a Kickstarter, and Mantic never disappoints with their Kickstarters. It's way too little and you get way too much.
Yeah,
So that's the great thing about them. But we'll have to see. A month from now, exactly a month from now.
yeah.
Because
From when we're recording this, we're recording
from when
this
we
on
record
the
this, yeah, it's
14th.
going to be a month from now. But yeah, you alluded to, and we were alluding to before about the Mantic Vault, and I got to tell you, man, it's one of the best things that they've come out with, and one of the best things that like my purchase that I put in. So between they had the thing where the Vault started, and you can get the companion for like a lifetime membership, whatever. Um, Man, it's so good. It's so good. Um, and here's the funny part. Right before we were doing this podcast, I started to look into the vault, just want to refresh my memory so we could talk about it in an educated way. And I just noticed that I got a 9-month reward.
Oh,
And, so the 3-month reward, they had a bunch of different animals and stuff, which was kind of cool. The 6-month award was the dwarf Hellfane with the crew. So it's almost like an elephant-sized rhino with an abyssal dwarf riding on the back, which is freaking awesome. But this month was a Goliath.
damn,
I got the STL for a Goliath.
that's
So
insane.
yeah, so I think for Firefight, when the name was come to Firefight, dude, running like 5 Goliaths.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Or imagine them like taking like 10 small Goliaths in Epic Warpath, like
Right.
something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, if hopefully it's them. I think it's going to be the top four. Enforcers, Plague, Asterians, and Forge Fathers
Right.
would probably be the original. Well, actually, Rebs was the original, but
They ain't gonna do the Rebs.
yeah. Well, I
I
think
don't
they
think
could do
so.
the Rebs as a faction where you kind of bring them in, but I digress with that. But here's another thing too. I don't know if um, people were talking about this, but I know Dead's on the podcast talked about it, but I got here's the thing, going back to what we were alluding to with Kings of War, we got we didn't even talk about Armada, which is one of our favorite games. It's at the top of the list,
Yes.
but we got Seas of Dread, Firefight rulebook, and the Kings of War rulebook, all digital PDFs
Right.
from doing the vault.
Right. Right.
Okay, so if you look back at the vault, it's freaking bananas
Yeah.
because right now when we went to Adepticon, you and myself, you got the Trident Realms, and I bought
Hmm.
the dwarf, the whole fleet with the extra large ship and everything,
Right.
because we really like the game. Right now, because of the vault, we have a total Basilean, Orc, dwarfs we had, but we printed a few extra things. Empire of Dust total fleet
Actually, it's Empire of the Dust.
of the Dust, right? We have the Trident Realms fleet, okay, but also you're running like 5 turtles.
Right.
So because
Yeah,
of the
and that
vault,
that's my kind of favorite part of the vault is that,
right?
like, okay, like when we played, yeah, after we got back from Adepticon, we played Mantic Armada, and I did Trident Realm, and I'm like, these turtles are really good. I want to take more of them.
Right.
Came out the vault, Trident Realm came into the vault.
And,
You printed.
well, we got back in March and they came out in August. The
Right.
the turtles
Well,
were part of the August.
I'm saying so. The turtles came out. Now I'm taking 5 turtles, and
Yeah,
it's awesome.
yeah.
I was like, yeah, I really like the gun turtles for Trident Realm.
And I mean, we have printers, so we could do stuff like this.
Right.
But the fact that you can run 5 turtles, and I printed up 3 of them
Right.
and not have to buy another pack, for I think it's like $13 a month is not even. It's crazy,
Yeah.
So wait, so Trident Realm, Empire of the Dust, and then we have the whole Twilight Kin fleet,
Right.
right? And the Elves just came out recently, so I'm really looking forward to. Um, I would really like to see the Salamanders fleet because they came out this month in the vault, like the Corsairs and stuff. But I want to see that those. I like those ships. It's almost kind of look like a Chinese junk. Those ships with um, the sails that are very like old Chinese. They call them junks. So I'd love to see that. Next month in the February vault, which right now we're it's a little too early for them to do it. But going back to like what you said before, I really do like the Night Stalkers, and man, there's a bunch of stuff here. So if you get the ambush set, we could really like you could really just print a bunch of stuff like the Mind Screech is cool. Well, maybe take 4 of them. The Soul Flayers, these guys, the Night Stalker Fiends,
Yeah.
are like, they're kind of like, I don't know, like I would the best way I could say it's kind of like if Alien, like a xenomorph, had a child with a spider and a scorpion at the same time.
Right.
They're just insane, man. And I printed them wanting to just paint them because they look so freaking cool.
Right. Right.
And we're not even playing King's War yet.
Yeah.
So, I listen, this vault thing is awesome. And what's beautiful about it is like say tomorrow I say, you know what? I just don't want to do the vault anymore. You have the vault forever and they have the files here. It's not like you have to worry about them going somewhere.
Right.
And there's a bunch of Forge Father stuff. There's additions to things, and I just I know you're here, but I don't know if it's coming across how much I love this, having the vault and putting stuff on mules, printing up all these awesome the Armada stuff. It's crazy. It really is.
Yeah. It's definitely, as like for someone like me that's not really, you're the printer guy,
Right.
in the FOG studio.
I am the hobby dude.
Yes. So not like, me looking, outside looking in, it's still ridiculous.
Right.
You're like, oh my god, like we have a whole, we have like 6 factions for Armada now.
Right. Six
Like,
fleets.
yeah, fleets for Armada. It's like, what? Like, what do you mean? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, because of the vault. Okay, and then like you print everything, you paint everything. It's like, okay, what do you want to play now? And
Yeah.
it's like you're really, you're getting into it for like nothing. Like,
It, it it's a minimal cost,
yeah.
but cost effective to the point where it's really super duper cost effective. The only thing is so January they came out with the whole nameless faction, and they like I said, the bonus for being loyal for 9 months, every 3 months they give you some kind of really cool gift, and for the 9 month it was the Goliath, and I'm looking at him like, man, this is awesome, but I have, when the Nameless came out with Star Saga and whatnot, I got like four boxes of them
Right.
just in case. So I have tons of them. But you know what? If I want to run a whole bunch of gunslingers, like say a whole army of gunslingers, and just um, uh, you know, one leader and 20 gunslingers, I'm able to print 20 gunslingers,
And
and I think that's pretty cool.
yeah, and like it just gives you more that variety, when
Yeah.
you play these games, it gives you more variety in, playing whatever. Oh, I'm playing, like I said, I'm playing Trident Realm. I'm taking 6 turtles now. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like ridiculous.
And
But
what's the beauty of it too is it's connected to the companion.
right.
So I Dead Zone, the podcast, Rob and Jack, we were doing team building exercise, and this is before the companion came out, and we would always talk about how we would go to the bathroom and just come out and make like 30 lists,
Right.
because me and Jack love making lists. So with the companion, you have that, but you have all the rules at your fingertips.
Right.
So a little question mark goes over the keyword, and you press it, and thing comes from the side, and it tells you that. So um, we've said that we were going to make lists and whatnot, correct? And then when we're going to play, we're going to try to go paperless and have the
Exactly.
rules and all that on iPads,
Right.
so that when we play, we don't have to worry. Everything is there, and it's like, oh, what's this rule again? You don't have to go through the book. You just get with the technology. Just do that little question mark, click it, and then you'll say, oh, this is how it burns works. Oh, this is how
Right.
pinning works, and
Right. Right.
whatever. So I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's definitely a dream come true
Yeah,
for a printer. For people that print stuff.
right, right. Yeah, it's just it's if you're into this, it's worth it. It was worth it. I'm glad they jumped on it. I'm glad they did it. I'm very, very excited, and I don't know. I should be the Volt spokesperson. That's just me. That's what I'm saying. But and right now I'm looking at it. There's this kind of demon that holds a dice, and he's a round counter. I think that has to be printed tomorrow.
Yes, definitely.
It's going to be on all of our tables.
Yeah.
I think I think maybe a tattoo of FOG on his belly might be good. Something.
Ooh.
Yeah. See, we're already starting. So that's your department. You could work on that,
Yes.
and we'll get it going.
All right. But yeah, I mean, like going back to the Epic Warpath, it's kind of like, if they have the STL support, I think I'm game.
Right.
You know, uh, you know, print everything and then just try it out. I think then I would definitely be interested in that, in doing that, than getting into a whole new game for because you know
Well, you know what? Let's see. Because honestly, let's see what the Kickstarter, how much and how much and how much. You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
Because if sometimes, now that I've been printing for, I don't know, about 6 years, 7 years now, sometimes it is worth it just to get the game
right,
with the models already, hard plastic models, without going through all the muss and fuss. Sometimes the game is so expensive that it's better to do the STLs.
right,
So, with Mantic it's a little hard because they're always price effective.
yeah,
Uh, although I would like, if there was an option for both, that might be an option.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like, all right, I want to build. I have 10 squads of hard plastic enforcers, but I want to do another 10. I can print them. That's where I like it.
well,
Because
I'm
also,
sure that stuff was going to come out into the vault.
well, maybe, but
you
it's a new
know
game, so it might be a while before it does. But
right,
then again, Armada's pretty new when it came out, but it's been out for a few years. But I think I would wait, like maybe do some extras in the vault.
right,
You know what I mean? Like, something that you can add on to something, or, print the ship a different, like a cool way, and,
right.
like that.
Yeah, no, I do think you know
It's a
we'll,
good
we'll
time.
definitely see.
It's a good time to be a Mantic fan.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, this is the best time to be a Mantic nerd.
Yeah. And I
But
like the fact that you admitted that we're going to start playing Kings of War. So I think that's great.
well, we'll see what happens with that. But that all being said, you could check out all the links in the description / show notes wherever you're watching this. And did you have anything else you kind of wanted to talk about, Coach?
Man, we can go on forever, but like they say in the Hakaguri, the end is important in all things.
Yeah. So, guys, that is it. Definitely, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. This is going to be our kind of new thing, the FOG podcast. And then, as well as if you're watching it, Maya's getting up from a long nap. If you're watching this on Spotify, you can check out the YouTube channel. We have other videos that we post just about, random stuff. So definitely check those out. And yeah, guys, we will see you in the next one.
Well, guys, unfortunately this is the end, but don't worry, they will be back next month. And you can check out all the links in the description or show notes for more Andrew and Coach. See you next month.